What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 4, Dark Side of the Spoon. I'm not feeling really well, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. And yeah, let's see how fast I can do it. Let's start off with Red and Joy. So Red and Joy, they are our newest couple that we actually met last week. Joy is, I think she says she's from the Cherokee Nation, very proud of being Cherokee. She has a beautiful little boy who's about 3 years old, and Red is her boyfriend who's been incarcerated for a few years. He was given a 10-year sentence, and it seems like he is almost at the end of that sentence. So, this is what she says. She says, "I've never seen him in person, but he's my everything." Joy to me gives off desperation. Like, she is so desperate to have a man in her life that to hell with her pride, to hell with her dignity, and to hell with what's best for her son. She just needs to have a man in her life in any shape or form. So when we see her, she is actually going to see an attorney before she takes off for Missouri to go get her boyfriend Red. So her and her sister, they have an appointment with this attorney, and she's talking to the attorney about Red adopting her son. Now, I don't even know how such a thought would even come into her head, because she's never seen Red. They've never spent any real physical time together. The whole entire relationship has taken place over the phone or FaceTime or whatever. So she's never seen this person in real life, doesn't know what he's like outside of prison, but she's already consulting with an attorney about him adopting her son. So the attorney, the first thing he asks her is, well, where's your son's biological father? And she says, because, you know, if the child has a father, and that father, you know, might have rights that he might not want to give up so that some inmate can adopt his son. So the attorney asks her, so where's the father? And she says, well, I don't know who the father is, but I've narrowed it down to 3 guys. Last week, you know, Joy was telling us that whenever her boyfriend Red gets put in the hole and they can't communicate, she gets really lonely. Now, I understand that when they get put in the hole, they can be in there for like weeks at a time, right? But I don't think that he was gone in the hole so long to the point where you had to be with a whole bunch of other dudes and get pregnant by somebody else. But okay, fine. So she says that she doesn't know who the father is, but she's narrowed it down to 3 guys. Her sister looks at her like, excuse me, but you told us the name. You gave us the name, and you said it was this one particular guy. And she goes, well, I was really ashamed about the fact that I didn't know who the father was. And, you know, I was laying it low and spreading it wide. And I was just, you know, ashamed and embarrassed. So she doesn't know. And I'm thinking to myself, Joy, what you need to be doing with this attorney is you need to be figuring out how to establish paternity with your son and his real father. You need to try to figure out who the real father of your child is, because your child has a right to know who his father is. It doesn't mean that this man has to be a part of your child's life right now. It doesn't mean that you have to give up, you know, half of your rights to this man. It just means that your son has the right to know who his father is, so that when he's older, he can do what he wants with that information, whether he wants to find him and meet him and establish something with him, or maybe he doesn't want to do that, but he has to have that option. You can't take that choice away from your little boy. But whatever, she wants to talk about some inmate that she's never seen in real life adopting her son. So after that, she tells us that Red could have been done with his prison term like within 3 to 4 years. They gave him 10. He could have been out in 3 to 4, but he kept on getting in trouble, kept on getting sent to the hole. So he ended up serving, I guess, the whole entire 10. And so now she's going to go get him. So she drops her son off at her parents' house because she's going to go fly to Missouri to go get Red. And I've always said this with these type of shows. It's really sad what these kids go through, because the parents are just extremely selfish. They only think about what they want, what's good for them, and their children just have to put up with it. The children have no choice. So pretty soon, this man is going to come into her little boy's life and disrupt everything that he's known, everything that's made him comfortable. This man's going to come in and completely disrupt it. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Moving on to Andy and Britney. So Andy and Britney, they're still at the hotel. He comes in to give her coffee, and she's like, I don't want about that. And so then they have a conversation about Gracie. She tells Andy that her and Gracie got into another fight. She makes it sound really, really bad, and that she needs to stick around and work out her relationship with Gracie. And Andy's like, what the hell? We're supposed to be going back home. I'm supposed to be taking you back to my city, to my house, and we're supposed to be starting this new life together. And so then she flips the script on him, and she's like, you don't want me to have a relationship with my children? You just want me to leave my children behind? So here we go. So now, like I said, she has no interest in Andy. She wants to get as far away from him as possible. I don't understand why he doesn't see that. So she's going to use her children she's going to use her children as an excuse to not be with him and not to continue further on into this relationship. And he's like, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't have a relationship with your children, but we were supposed to go back home. I want to know, what was the discussion between Andy and Britney of what was going to happen after she came out of prison? Did they have a conversation about what the next step was? Was it to go back home with him? And I thought that's what it was, because she was telling her daughter how much she was going to miss her hometown, but she knew that it was best for her to go off with Andy because her hometown had a lot of triggers for her, and she didn't want to get back on drugs and be, tempted and all of that stuff. So I'm pretty sure the plan was for her and Andy to go back to his city and to stay in his home together. So she's like, my children need me, and you're supposed to be facilitating a relationship between me and Gracie. Me and Gracie are having problems right now, and you're supposed to be helping us come together, not taking us apart. And so then she talks about how he's a really bad dad because he abandoned his children. But Andy says he wasn't around for his kids because he was a truck driver. And his daughters are saying that, he just wasn't there for, I don't know what's going on. Because I'm thinking to myself, because Andy likes to say, I switched careers for my children. So if you switched careers for your children, I'm thinking you're saying you wanted to be more present in their lives. But being a truck driver took you away from them. You were gone for like weeks at a time. So how was that? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with these people. So it seems like nobody wants to be a parent. Neither one of them want to be parents to their children. So she's talking really bad about Andy, how you weren't there for your own kids, and in the confessional, she calls him a deadbeat dad, and you're supposed to be the father of girls, but he doesn't want to help me, reconcile with my own daughter. And then she starts saying that he's really self-absorbed, and he goes, I'm not self-absorbed. And she says, yes, you are self-absorbed, because every decision that you make is about you and what you want. And so he steps out to talk to his friend, and he tells his friend that he was blindsided by Britney. And I'm thinking, Andy, you were not blindsided. There were so many huge red flags in this relationship. Everybody was telling you that it wasn't a good idea. Your kids, your friend, myself, everybody was telling this was not a good idea. How could you be blindsided? Maybe you were blind to what the hell was in front of you, but you weren't blindsided. So then Britney, in her confessional, she accuses him of being like some creepy guy. You're an ex-cop, but you are on these prison pen pal websites, looking for a girlfriend who was in prison. Like, what kind of a cop does that? And she's called him controlling, just saying all kinds of horrible things about this man, because she's done with him. She got her phone, she got her money, she got her new clothes. He was, taking care of her while she was behind bars. And this was the plan. As soon as she got out of prison, she was going to go in whatever opposite direction that Andy was going. This was the plan, to break up with him, because he was nothing but a trick. He was nothing but a simp, an easy target, an easy prey. That's all he was. Everybody saw that except for Andy. I'm like, Andy, what kind of a cop were you? Were you some type of Barney Fife, Mayberry kind of cop where you couldn't see these glaring, huge, gigantic red flags waving in your face? So while he's out there talking to his friend, Britney comes out with her bag, with the cell phone that he bought her, the iPhone that he bought her, with the clothes that he bought her. She comes out with her stuff and she breezes right past him, didn't look at him, didn't say goodbye, nice knowing you, thanks for supporting me, see you on the other side, none of that. And she got into her daughter's car, who was waiting for her in the parking lot downstairs, got into her daughter's car, and they were out of there. So then he tells his friend, oh my gosh, she just left. And the friend was like, what are you going to do? This dum-dum says, I don't know. I don't know. He tells us in his confessional that he's very invested in this relationship, not just financially, but also mentally, emotionally. He's invested. Okay, fine. We get it. We've all, fallen for someone who was no good for us, who had no business, falling for. But at some point, you got to wake up and smell the damn coffee and get the hell out of this situation. He goes into his son's room. He tells his son, Britney left. So his son was like, so dad, what are you going to do now? He's like, oh no, just go sit here and wait for her. No, you're going to get your son, get your stuff, get in your car and go back home and forget about this. And don't forget to turn off her cell phone service. But he, oh no, I'm going to just sit up here and wait for her. Okay, whatever, Andy. Barney Fife. Okay, that's fine. She's already made you look like a fool. I don't know already how many times. And it's not that she's that clever. Andy, you're just that dumb. Moving on to Melissa and Louie. Y'all, I don't have time to talk about Donna. Donna, to me, I don't know if this is, I don't know if the show was telling her to do these crazy things and to act like this. To me, Donna, is not even a real person. She's just a character. So I'm going to bypass all of the Donna storylines or situations and just stick to Louie and Melissa. So in the middle of the night, they take off because they wanted to spend time together at the hotel. Excuse me, y'all, I have a cold. So they wanted to spend time at the hotel. So in the middle of the night, they leave. They go to a hotel to make it do what it do. Unfortunately, the girl was on her cycle. She had no idea. I guess her cycle had just started when they were getting started. But the show must go on. So that didn't stop. No monkey. What did they say? No monkey didn't stop no show, because he kept on. It didn't stop nothing. They went ahead and made it do what it do. And yeah. So when they wake up the next morning, he looks at his phone, and his mom obviously has been blowing up his phone. He calls his mother. Donna is hysterical. Oh, there's an unmarked car in front of my house, and what am I supposed to do? And so it's just stupid. So after that, they get ready, they get in the car, they go to the PO because he has to meet up with his PO, and he meets up with the PO. No, he's in the building talking to the PO, and Melissa's waiting for him in the car. She's talking to her friend, getting her friend caught up with what's been happening so far. So as she's talking to her friend, here comes Donna with a wooden stick, banging on the window in her moo-moo, yelling and screaming, I don't know what. Y'all, I'm going to bypass all that crazy nonsense. So Louie comes out, and he sees his mom, whatever. And so then the question is, will he be able to leave Georgia? Because Melissa really wants him in Georgia with her. In New Jersey with her. And plus, Melissa tells us in her confessional that because now he's got a little taste of that, she's worried that she's awakened the beast in him, and he's going to be on the prowl, wanting more and more of, what I'm talking about. And so she's worried that if she leaves him in Georgia, he's going to be hooking up with other women. So he must come back to New Jersey with her, so she can have a really, tight leash on him. So when he comes out of the probation office, she's like, okay, so what about, can you leave Georgia? Can you come to New Jersey? Excuse me, y'all. And that's where their little segment ended. They left us on a cliffhanger as far as whether or not he's going to be able to go back to New Jersey with her. I really hope so, because I'm over Donna. I'm sick and tired of Donna. Moving on to Sheree and Anthony. So she's waiting for him in her hoe outfit, and Anthony comes out. They drive him up, and they reunite. They're excited to see each other, etc., etc. So she brought him his mom's home cooking, and his mom made him some chicken and stuff. And so she was like, "Oh, your mom cooked something for you." He looked at it. He was like, "I don't want that." And I was like, how rude. Your mom cooked you a dinner and you don't want it? But he's like, yeah, I don't want that. Okay, fine. So they get in the car, and she shows him the itinerary. She's like, she's a big planner. She has to plan every little thing throughout the day. Everything has to be planned. Everything has a schedule. So she shows him the itinerary, and he's like, what the hell is this? And she's like, that's the itinerary. You got to follow the itinerary because you have to have structure in your life. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, this is the quickest way to get this man to break up with you and to leave you, by keeping him on this schedule and whatever else you got going on with the itinerary and the damn alarms going off, because she also has her phone set with all of these alarms, like when he's supposed to eat, when he's supposed to go get the haircut, when they're supposed to go to the hotel, just a bunch of nonsense. And so he's like, I just came from prison where they had me on a tight schedule. I'm not trying to be out here on another schedule. But baby, you need structure. Okay, fine. She asked him, so where do you see yourself in 3 years? No, that's not what she says, where do you see us in 3 years? And he says, well, I really want to go back to school. It had nothing to do with them. He talked about, where he saw himself, not where he saw them too. And he says, yeah, I want to go back to school. I want to go back into the culinary arts. And he didn't, I'm pretty sure she wanted him to say, oh, I see us married or living together or having kids. He said none of that. He says, I see myself going back to school. So after that, she takes him to Popeyes. That's what he really wanted. He wanted some Popeyes. After Popeyes, they go to the, barbershop for him to get a haircut. So she tells us in her confessional that, okay, she's planned this party for him, right? I'm so sorry, y'all. She's planned this party for him. And she says that she's invited her ex to the party because her ex has been, I guess, ragging on her about this prison relationship. And she really wants to prove to her ex, who's the father of her child, that, she's good. Her and Anthony are good. They're happy together. She's the happiest that she's ever been with Anthony. And I'm thinking to myself, if you are so concerned about what your ex thinks, you must still want to be with your ex, because it should not matter to you what he thinks about your new relationship. It should matter. And for you to invite him to your new boyfriend's or your current boyfriend's welcome home party, girl, that is no bueno. That is absolutely no bueno. You're so concerned about your ex that you're willing to make your current man upset. Moving on to Chelsea and Mikey. So Mikey, on their way to see his sisters, he promises to be good. He's telling Chelsea, I promise, I'm going to be on the straight and narrow. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to do good. I'm going to be there for you, etc. So while they're driving, her son FaceTimes her. And so, y'all, my anxiety was on 10 because she's FaceTiming her son. She's, keeping up communication with her son and with Mikey. She's signing. It's like a lot going on. I'm like, Chelsea, you can do all this once y'all get to the house. This is just too much while you're driving. So Mickey's mom actually passed away 2 weeks before his release. How sad is that? How tragic is that? 2 weeks before his release, that's when his mother passed away. So he feels really guilty for not being there for his mom and his sisters. So she takes him to his mom's house where his sisters are waiting for him. It's a really sweet reunion between him and his sisters. Chelsea actually mourned with his family when his mom passed away. And that meant a lot to Mickey that she was there with his family, to be there for them, grieving with them with the passing of his mom. And he says that alone right there makes me want to have a future with her. So they go to his mom's room. He takes her up to his mom's room, and it's very emotional for him. And he asks her, is it okay if we stay here for the night and sleep in my mom's bed? And she's like, yeah, no, it's just too weird. No, your mom just passed away. I cannot sleep in her bed. No, we're not going to do that. So she insists that they go to a hotel. So he comes downstairs and he tells his sisters, I don't really feel comfortable being in mom's bed, so soon after she passed away. So I think we're just going to get a hotel. The sisters were cool with that. I really liked how he said he wasn't cool with sleeping in the mom's bed, instead of him throwing Chelsea under the bus and saying, well, Chelsea doesn't want to sleep in my mom's bed. Chelsea doesn't want to stay here. So I'm really glad that he covered for his girlfriend. But y'all, honey, on their way to the hotel, he was dropping all kinds of clues, big, fat, juicy clues of what he was expecting when we get to the damn room. He was like, I can't wait to get you in that bed. I can't wait to get there. He let it be known to the whole wide world exactly what he was expecting from her. So they get to the hotel. They're not even inside the building. He's already telling the camera crew, y'all can go on about y'all's business. I'm about to spend this night with my woman. We're about to get up in this room. We're about to tear it up. So Chelsea said that she was scared. She was like petrified of what's going to be happening because he got this big old buff man, and the only thing on his mind is just like ravishing you. And she was like scared out of her mind. So she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to keep myself way on the other side of the bed, as far away from him as possible. Girl, I'm going to pray for you. I am going to pray for you. And I mean that with all sincerity. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate my video. I'm so sorry, y'all, that I kept on wiping my nose because I have a cold and it's just drip drab over here. Thank you so much for joining me. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.